Hello again. We are Chris Lee, Chase Robinson, and Jay Greeson of Southeastern 16 here to preview Week 1 action between LSU and Clemson. This one in Clemson, 6:30 Central on ABC. Jay Greeson is going to give us the latest numbers at FanDuel on this game momentarily. FanDuel is where you get your player props, your same game parlays with FanDuel's SGP menu, which is deep and impressive. So you can really build some fun combinations around player performance and game outcomes. FanDuel has you covered with competitive odds and tons of betting options. Just remember to bet responsibly and have fun with it. Jay Greeson, what are you seeing in terms of point spreads and over-unders on LSU and Clemson at FanDuel as we do this around mid-afternoon on Monday?
FanDuel has Clemson as a 3.5-point favorite at home, and the total set at 57.5. I would be considering some of the skill sets and look, most NFL draft prognosticators that I am aware of have this matchup featuring two of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks to come off the board next spring in Cade Klubnick and Garrett Nussmeier. So I could see this turning into a little bit of a shootout.
Let's start with LSU, then I'll kick it to Chase for a little preview of Clemson. I think this LSU roster is loaded. Garrett Nussmeier, in my opinion, might be the best player in the country. He's got a loaded receiver room. I think defensively they're going to be better, especially getting Harold Perkins back year 2 under Blake Baker. I think this is an LSU roster that looks to me like it is loaded and playoff ready if the Tigers can survive a brutal schedule, which begins in Week 1.
It does begin in Week 1, and the fact that it's a true road game makes you, if you're an LSU fan, even more thankful for Garrett Nussmeier's experience. I mean, these are two of the short list programs that are being bandied about by a lot of folks as being not only playoff contenders, but national championship contenders. And among all the other teams in those familiar conversations through the preseason, these two have a litany of experience with their quarterbacks. But I think you mentioned the wide receiver room. There's been a ton made about LSU having to replace 2 highly regarded NFL draft pick offensive linemen, including at left tackle, where Will Campbell was an All-American the last couple of years. I think a big part that will determine LSU's success, even with a star-studded wide receiver room, and Aaron Anderson's going to introduce himself to the country come Saturday night. But I think how quickly they get Caden Durham lathered up, the sophomore running back who only had 1 game with north of 20 carries last year, I think that should be an LSU goal for every game all season, is to make certain we find a way to get that guy 20 touches.
Well, Chase, LSU is not the only team in this matchup with a loaded roster. Love what Clemson's got. Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnick. I mean, either one of those guys, as we sit here before the season, could be your first pick of the NFL draft next year, potentially with a great season. Clemson's got at least a couple of first rounders on that defensive line. This is supposed to be Dabo Sweeney's best team in a minute, and on paper, it certainly feels that way.
Oh, it does. It most certainly does, and it's a good looking roster. And we look at these depth charts, and usually when you look at Clemson, they kind of do different colors for transfers. We're not used to seeing that transfer color used much, but there are a couple of those this year. He's brought in 3 transfers, but I feel like this is what he's been working for the last couple of years to get some of these guys ready for this moment. And I think they are. Like, this is a Clemson roster that is built for a championship type season. I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but it's a roster built that way. Like, Cade Klubnick coming back is a huge part of that. And yeah, he's got the experience. He's played in the big games to where having this game at home on a Saturday night is what he is ready for. And even going against this LSU defense, who I know is improved they're going to have a challenge containing Cade Klubnick and company there. But I do like what they look like defensively as well. They did bring in 2 transfers on the defensive side, and I think again this roster is built to where they can challenge Garrett Nussmeier defensively and do some different things to present some challenges. So I like this Clemson roster, and again I think this is a team that we'll be talking about a lot come December and January.
Jay, you mentioned one storyline that I think is a big focus of this one. LSU losing its 2 tackles to the NFL in the first round. Now, look, LSU has recruited some good defensive or offensive linemen. It's not like there's not talent here, but you're looking at continuity issues heading into game 1 potentially as guys get used to playing with each other. And probably the guys that LSU plugs in are not going to be at the level that those guys, were a year ago, which is a problem potentially when you're facing Clemson's D-line in the opener here.
Without question. And especially, look, Nussmeier is extremely talented. There are a lot of folks who, as we've referenced, have him pegged to be shortlist Heisman guy, could be pick 1 round 1 next spring, but he's more of a traditional 3, 5, 7 step guy, and those guys don't extend plays. And if the pressure gets to him, it could be a long afternoon in the other Death Valley. And conversely, Chase, looking at depth charts, it's quite telling that Clemson not only does not have a portal kid starting on offense, but all 5 of their offensive linemen have been in the program for now 4+ years. You've got 1 redshirt junior, 1 true senior, and 3 graduates. And you're talking about a bunch of grown men who've now been lifting weights in Clemson, South Carolina for 3+ years.
Yeah, and under an ultimate motivator in Dabo Sweeney, like again, they've been working for this moment, for this year, because they have all these guys back. You mentioned those guys on the offensive line. They're ready for this. Like they've been working towards this. So this roster is built so good, and again, a lot of experience that will show in games like these. And again, the last couple of years we haven't seen, and I know they were in the playoff last year, but we haven't seen Clemson, win a national championship in several years. We haven't seen that type of roster, but this is close to that. And because of the experience that they have and the guys who are stepping into these positions, even though they may not have started last year, like they've been working in this program, and that's going to say a lot, I think, when these 2 teams hit the field Saturday night.
We talked about Clemson in the trenches, but let's not short LSU either. Patrick Payton added in the portal. Harold Perkins back and hopefully healthy, and we'll see if they're able to turn him loose. Whit Weeks also back there too. Jay, I know that you had the SEC Freshman of the Year coming from LSU. A guy we've talked about. So
I am immensely high on DJ Pickett, the number 1 cornerback in the country, coming out of high school. He's fast. He's long. He's 6'4". I think he's going to starting this week. I don't know if he's going to be on the field with the starters for the first snap, but he is such a tremendous cover corner. And look, it's like we talked about when we did our live stream earlier this afternoon here on Southeastern 16. When you've got to replace people at places like LSU and Ohio State and Alabama and in some regards even Clemson, you're not picking former walk-ons, and you're replacing 5 stars with 5 stars. They're just 2 or 3 years younger in a lot of instances. So LSU's got a lot of dudes, man, and they'll have a lot of these guys go from playing football on Saturdays to playing football on Sundays. But I'm glad you mentioned DJ Pickett, because I think he's going to be a bona fide star sooner rather than later for for LSU.
Okay, it's about time for picks, but before we do that, a reminder to help out a couple other entities that help our show. First one is Game Time Sidekicks. You know, if you watch a show, I get my water every morning out of this beautiful 40-ounce tumbler. It keeps it cold all day. You get that at GameTimeSidekicks.com, which offers officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, over 350 other universities. It is top of the market quality in terms of construction and ice retention. Tons of designs and logos offered for each school, even the college vault line. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 for the 20% discount to viewers on your entire order. Also, we are presented by Rockform, which is the world's strongest magnetic phone case. It offers extreme protection, super strong magnets, and rock lock secure mounting. It is the most durable and multifunctional phone case and accessories you can find. And I know because I've got their stuff. It's tremendous. At Rockform, quality is paramount. You can expect the same type military-grade standards with the case accessories as you get with the actual cases. Go to rockform.com, ROKFORM.com. Get 25% off your entire order with SEC25 as your promo code. All right, picks. Let's start with you, Jay Greeson. Who are you taking in this one and why?
I think I've made it pretty universally clear. I think Clemson wins this football game. I've got Clemson running the regular season table and entering the college football playoff as the 1 seed overall. That's a testament to their experience, their high-end star power. If Klubnick is what a lot of people believe he can be, you're talking about a potential first-team All-American quarterback. You've got two future NFL first-round defensive linemen going against a LSU's biggest question mark in returning and replacing 4 offensive line starters. I think it's going to be close. If I had to bet it, if I could find it at 4, I would probably take the 4 points. Since Dabo Sweeney's Tigers are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 against SEC teams, but I think Clemson wins 34-31.
I agree with you on it being a close game. I really do think it will be. I think it'll be a great game. I am going to take Clemson as well. Brian Kelly has not done well in opening games. This one is on the road. This is not a neutral site game. This is going to be a very tough place to play for LSU. I take Clemson, and that home field advantage will help them in this one get a close win.
Well, Brian Kelly's not been great in openers, but neither is Dabo Sweeney for what it's worth. But, hey, look, I think this is probably a game where I'm taking the home team regardless. I think if it's in an LSU, I might be a little bit more hesitant, although it's incredible home field advantage. But I think I just keep going back to you're breaking new tackles. And this defensive line is probably the last one in the country you want to do that against. Take that. Take the home field. I will take Clemson over LSU in this one, but I'm with you guys. If this is anything other than a tremendous ball game that's close late, I will be very surprised because I think, again, I would put both these teams in the playoff today if I'm making picks. Okay, speaking of picks, Jay, I want to see if anything catches your eye over at FanDuel as we are just days away from Week 1 college football action. Again, we are brought to you by FanDuel, which offers player props, same-game parlays, and an SGP menu at FanDuel that is deep and impressive, so you can really build some fun combinations around player performances and game outcomes. FanDuel's got you covered with competitive odds and tons of betting options. Just remember to bet responsibly and have fun with that. Jay Greeson, what catches your eye at FanDuel today?
Well, I'm not a big season-long futures Heisman better because of the ebbs and flows, but to kind of put a bow on the evenness of a lot of the star power in this game, everybody knows Arch Manning at Texas is the Heisman frontrunner at plus 700, which means if you bet $100, you would win 700. Tied in second, Cade Klubnick, Garrett Nussmeier, each are plus 900 to win the Heisman. Who takes the first step towards that come Saturday night? will, I think, tell us a great deal about who wins what, in my mind, is of Saturday's games, the one I am anticipating enjoying the most.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cannot wait to watch this one. We will wrap it up when it is over with, as well as all the SEC football action from week one and every week of college football season. We are Southeastern 16. We are your home for football, baseball, and basketball content in the SEC year-round. For Jay Greeson and Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. Thanks for watching our content here at Southeastern 16. God bless you. We'll see you again soon with more of that.